Hi, it's Leanne Greff. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and it is Tuesday morning, and that is my weekly live is at 11 a.m. Central Time every Tuesday, barring holidays and whatnot. But yeah, this is today's class will feature brand new designer paper and a couple fun folds, but I have some news, some information, a lot of it actually. Lots happening with the start of the mini catalog that started last week, I believe Wednesday. So it's been 6 days, and yeah, we are low and out of quite a few products. So I'll be covering which ones are out of stock in just a little bit. I'm just going to recycle my laptop, and there we go. Get my so I can see comments. Well, good morning, everybody. Thank you for joining me, giving me some of your time on Tuesday morning. And yeah, once again, my phone says I'm straight, but this does not look like it's straight, so we'll give it one shot. Okay, all right, so yeah, the catalog is there. There is a lot of items unavailable. So I actually printed up a list. I had an open house this weekend, and so I wanted people to know what was unavailable, and I don't believe it's changed much. From the holiday catalog, the new embossing folder, Stars at Night, the decorative masks, and the copper natural ribbon pack. Those are accessories. These two items, I believe, are coming back in September. This one is not till the end of October, the ribbon pack. So I'll be contacting people who have signed up for my kit to go, which included that ribbon. I will be substituting that unless you're okay with waiting almost a month to get the real ribbon. I'm not going to do two shippings, so I'll have to make a decision. So I'll be contacting everybody. So stamps and dies, punches, bag of bones dies, and the bundle, of course, is gone for a few weeks. Gorgeously Made, that's in the annual catalog. Little Dreamers annual catalog. The Truck Builder Punch still through October. That's an online exclusive. The Bow Punch, I believe in September, later this month, I believe. Don't quote me. Designer paper, so disappointing. The Winter Meadow designer paper, couple weeks, end of September on that. The All About Autumn, so exciting that it came back yesterday for just a few hours. It was gone again today. So this gorgeous paper, I hope they order a ton more because people jumped on it. I was one of them. I had to order for my kits to go and for a few orders from my open house. So yeah, we must have decimated their supply. The oxidized copper, the of those are just a few weeks, and a lot of embellishments from the holiday catalog. So yeah, you just can't predict what's going to go fast, and obviously Stampin' Up! Cannot either. We surprise them often with how well we like something, and sometimes it's just a few projects that everybody sees and it goes viral, and they're like, I got to get that, and then it's crazy and they run out of stock. So I can't fault them for running out of stock. Honestly, I don't run a big business. I don't know how to run a big business. So I know they try their best to guess their quantities and guess what we're going to love, and yet they have to keep inventory down to stay viable. So yeah, I'm just going to say they do their best, and I can't fault them. So yeah, that is the inventory update on that mini catalog. So let's see what's next. My special for online orders this month is a free card kit. Now this is like a mystery kit. There's many different cards and envelopes in this that are matching. Memories and More, die cuts, some embellishments, and these are kind of like a mystery card. There are 6 cards and envelopes with lots of supplies to make more cards. So that's my special for online orders using a host code over $50 in September. Okay, let's do door prizes before we move on. Now last week I decided to give away the Bloom by Bloom and the Pearl Basic Jewels. So the winners are Nancy Johnson won the pearls and Janet Henderson won the Bloom by Bloom stamp set. And for some reason I cannot message her on her Facebook. So if anybody knows Janet Henderson from Kentucky. Please contact her if you can, if you know her. She won this, and I can't find her contact information, nor does she accept messages on Facebook. So anyway, Nancy or Janet, please message me so I can send that to you. So congratulations, gals. So please, if you all want to win something from my lives, this week's prize are the adhesive back hexagons in 3 colors and a set of fun fold cards. They're all a little bit different. I love this one. I haven't made this one for a while. Might have to do that again. That's kind of it kind of closes into that. Here's a spanner card, and I really like using a piece of window sheet. That's like a double spanner. So, yep. And anyway, these are the 5 cards for somebody who shares my live this week. So it's using the retired Petal Park designer paper. I believe this was a kit to go, part of a kit to go previously. So yeah, share and comment, and you'll be in the prize drawing. Okay, my other special I'm super excited about is mystery boxes are back. So I have many people who get really excited about a mystery box. So what that is I took a picture. I have, I think, 25 mystery boxes, and I gathered all of my retired product and made piles. Now this retired product includes at least 180. I went through each pile and made sure that the value was at least 180. Many times it was over 200. And it includes 3 different assorted designer papers. Now I cut those into 6x12 pieces. 3 to 4 stamp sets each. Some are bundles. At least everybody got 1 bundle, some got 2. 1 or 2 ink pads each. At least 5 markers. Some are blends, some are regular markers. Cards and envelopes packs, dies and punches, embellishments, and ribbons. So the piles weighed in my boxes. So then after I made the 25 piles, I put them all in a priority mailing box. And this is 5 to 6 pounds of product. Oh, I forgot cardstock. There was a half to a full pack of cardstock in everybody's mystery box as well. So these are available to people free with a $100 purchase from me using a host code. That's my current host code. And if once you place your $100 order, I do ask you to pay the $14 shipping that for me to send you that priority box. And then you get that $180 to $200 in product, mystery product, sent to you. So you just need to place a $100 order using a host code, and it does have to be a host code, and then Venmo or PayPal me $14, and I will ship those out to you. So these are while supplies last. I only have a limited number, and like I said, they're at least 3 to 4 stamp sets, cardstock, 4 different designer papers, sometimes 5, and markers, ribbon, embellishments. They're well stocked. I think there are more product in them this year than they were last year when I did that, and people were quite happy with what they received. So there's my shop site, shopwithleanne.com. Use a host code. I will likely open another one and share that in my video link today, so you can use either one. All right, that's the news. So I am going to share, at the end of the video, I have a bunch of swaps featuring the All About Autumn bundle and suite. So stay tuned for that. But first I'm going to share the new designer papers. So this is the Tartan Plaid, and I will be, oh, can't see that way. I will be sharing my projects feature the Tartan Plaid today, and it's foil, tartan foil. I'm sorry, I keep calling it plaid because it is, but it's foil because it is shiny and just beautiful. So that is the Tartan Foil that I'll be using today. Then another new designer paper. Now these are only seen online. So I printed up our entire online exclusive list for my local gals. And there's a ton of them. Now they do include a lot of the kits, but we have a lot of designer paper, a lot of bundles, ribbons, dies, punches that are not in any catalog. So be sure you go, when you go to my site, shopwithleanne.com, go to menu and hit online exclusives. and you will see a ton of product. So this is the silver and gold 12 by 12 adhesive backed glimmer paper. Adhesive backed. So I'm going to use it today. You'll see how easy it is to not have to glue your fine die cuts. So that's the second designer paper. Now the third one is, let's see, this one is called Shining Christmas. And it is also every other sheet, well, every sheet on one side is foiled. So they're beautiful. And these are just in two colors. I believe it's Mossy Meadow, Cherry Cobbler, and white. I believe that's the color. But it's a really, it's almost like a black, but not, it's not a, I don't know. It's a pretty Mossy Meadow. So that is the Shining Christmas. This is $15. Remember, these are only seen online, and their wall supplies last. So all of these papers I'm showing you may be gone tomorrow, because they were not, I don't believe they're reordering these. They said that the 5 new papers are all while supplies last. Now this was a favorite at my open house. I had a lot of people really love this old vintage style. It's called Saint Nick. Let me just double check the name here. Traditions of Saint Nick, 12 by 12. It's $12.50 for the 12 papers, and it's double-sided, of course. So, and it does coordinate with the Saint Nick bundle in the holiday catalog. So that's one more. It's beautiful. And the last one, this is probably my favorite, and I also did decide I am featuring this in my kit, in a kit to go next month, because I love it so much. So this coordinates with the, what is it called? The Translucent Florals bundle in the online exclusive. So every other sheet has the wash and then a print on it. So yeah. And I believe some of the die cuts match. I'm not positive. I have not had time to check it out. But it's just gorgeous paper. And the colors, oh, so pretty. So next month in October, this is going to be a kit to go. All right. So those are the new online exclusive designer papers that are in the catalog. Okay. I think I can get going on our projects now. Okay, I was inspired by this next card. We're going to use the Magical Meadow bundle as well on a few of these projects. So we're going to make a bookbinding card, but with a twist, And I've done a twist on a bookbinding card in the past, but this is different. So do you remember what did I call this? Fold and tuck card. So do you remember that we did this just a few weeks ago, the fold and tuck card? So this is my bookbinding card using some of the dies from the Magical Meadow bundle. This greeting is actually from the So Sincere. I did use that. I wanted something small to fit right on that little circle. Okay, let's get our pieces out. Well, I am going to first talk about some of the dies. So that's the Magical Meadow. This little circle is from, this is another online exclusive Radiating Stitches dies. It fit this circle in the Stylish Shapes dies really well. I had a nice, perfect little border on there. So Island Indigo and Copper Clay. So Radiating Stitches dies, Stylish Shapes dies, which I just saw are in low inventory again. They can't keep those in either. They're very popular. I use them practically every time I create something, it seems. Okay, and no, that's in the next card. Okay, all right. So the designer paper here is a little bit different. Let me get my pieces out. This designer paper, I wanted something not busy to go with the tartan foil, and I found this Pretty Peacock print in the Garden Walk, the new Garden Walk designer paper. So that's where that is coming from. Okay, so when you make your card, I'm just going to scoop that there, put that here. You will score your piece. It's 4 1/4 by 11, and you will score it at 4 1/4 and 5 1/2. So it's the half size scored at 5 1/2, but you add one more score mark for that bookbinding. Okay. All right, so let's get to adhering and creating our little tuck and fold part. Now I shared that last, like I said, about 2 weeks ago. Do that, and I think I'm just going to continue to layer some of these things. Now this embossing folder, this one here is the exposed brick, and this is the new, here we go. So I used exposed brick on this one, and distressed tile, it's a new embossing folder on this one. Hopefully you can see that. Okay, all right. So that just gets, it doesn't really matter, I guess, which way I do that. And I've told you this before, but I really prefer on textured pieces a strong adhesive, and the Tombow multi-purpose glue is that strong adhesive that works so well for me. This is going to get centered, and yes, you can see, I thought, I didn't have that many scraps of Pretty Peacock, and I thought, well, I can use that layer, it won't show. I do that a lot. I use my under layers for die cutting or punching. Just going to center this. This is 3 1/4. The copper clay was 4 inches square, and so is the inside. So I'm going to put that on pause now for a little bit, except for maybe I'll stamp this. And then we'll get to making that cute little kind of a pinwheel. Just going to make sure I have no extra ink on there because I only have one of these. I did not cut a second. Okay. All right. Now, I'm going to bring in, this is my preferred method of scoring. This is our Simply Scored. So this is the 1.5 mark. So I already did 2 lines. This is 6 inches square. It's a great use of designer paper, whether it's 12 by 12 or 6 by 6. And I'm using the wide tip, not the small one. On designer paper, which is traditionally thinner than cardstock, I recommend the wide tip so you don't poke through your designer paper when you're scoring. Okay, so now, and I could use my paper trimmer, but I am going to use my scissors. It's pretty quick. I could have done a few of these ahead of time. So I love to use what's left over. So these squares, the last time I made a card like this, I used them, and I'll show you in a minute. Sorry, trying to get it in the right place. Okay, it just takes a minute here, and then we will start folding. Okay, so I'll save those to show you what I did last time. All right, so now we need a bone folder and fold all of these on the score line, and then we'll create something that doesn't quite look like the, I should have brought my other card over here, but I didn't. Okay, so when you do this, you fold this in, and then you fold one back right along. You don't need to score it, just fold it. Our designer paper is not that thick that you have to do that. So now I'm doing the same fold on every end, so always on what is my left. Okay, and then this, it's very quick actually, because they're nice, easy measurements. 6 inches square and score at 1 1/2. Okay, now we will start layering. See how that, I just see that I have a little extra piece there. I don't like that. I'm going to get rid of that. Must have been my trimming wasn't so good. See how we're making our pinwheel? Now, that doesn't quite work. We have to tuck that one in. Okay, I'm just going to, what I like to say, make it mind and get it all laying flat. Okay, there we go. That is our piece. So now traditionally this opens up and you can put an image in there, but it also works just like this, which is a little bit of a twist on this card. Got it. So now when I scored that or folded it, it got a little bit of the white core showing. I would take my copper blends and just color that, and then you wouldn't see that because it's very obvious. In fact, hold on, I'm going to grab it just so we can see. Just see how this works. I'm going to try the dark, and I'm going to use the fine tip and just see if we can hide. Oh, no, that one's too dark. Just never know. It's hard to see unless you put it over your darker paper. You don't really see it. Maybe a little bit on this side too. Okay, that hides it very well. Okay. Welcome everybody. If you're just joining me, I appreciate you watching. We are using the new Tartan Foil designer paper that is in the online exclusives. And now I'm going to add a dimensional right in the center of this. It's going to keep it all in place, but still lets the, oh, what do I have here? Just some extra silver. I'll be using that next. Still lets this kind of give some dimension. I don't want to layer it down. And now, oh, there we go. Now I could pop this up again, and if I do, I'm going to use mini dimensionals. Now, because I have a dimensional right in the center. Now a tip, if you don't want to pay extra postage, and you don't want your card any thicker, don't put it over where that dimensional is. I'm just going to add 2. Could add 3, probably should have, and add that as straight as I can. And now it's not double thick of dimensionals. That's a little tip for you. All right, for the inside, this is what I did with the squares, is I cut up 2 of those squares and added them in the inside. I don't know if that's going to stay. There we go. And I'm just going to add some adhesive to the corners. I'm only going to do 3. I don't dare do more than that, or I'll get glue all over me. And cover those up. And it adds a really nice inside for a square, especially for a square. Could be done on a rectangle of the inside of your card as well. But another reason why some of us have a hard time not saving every little scrap. I fight against that. I'm pretty good about it, but this paper is so pretty that I didn't. Let's see. I'm going to, should be able to estimate that square there. Put that in there. What a pretty inside of your card. Now, for a bookbinding fold, this needs to lay flat, but I decided to use twine. I almost used the copper, let's see, jute twine, but I decided it was a little bit, this was a little bit too pretty of a card for jute. Jute to me is a little bit more masculine, and I really like, I'm going to actually tie a knot before I tie my bow here today, if I can get that to mind me. Okay. All right. Then we'll tie a bow. This is just our white neutrals. I believe it's called neutrals. So if your twine does that and you're not happy with it, open up your bow and kind of just adjust that twine until it, and give it a twist until it lays how you want it to lay. Oh, it's still twisting. I have got to go the other way. And of course on video it's not going to listen to me. Sometimes I pull it larger. Can't do it today. There we go, a little bit better. Okay. Fussy. All right. Lastly, we're going to add some pretty die cuts to the card. So I did cut out, oh, here is the Neutrals twine. I think the Baker's Twine Essentials pack. that you get all those nice neutral colors in. So I did cut these out. There's my card again, and I don't want them so large, so long. So I'm going to go ahead and trim off part of this, maybe right there. And I'm going to use a mini glue dot on that. Love mini glue dots. And just layer those together. Trim this little piece. Then use another mini glue dot maybe. Could add some adhesive as well. I'm gonna see how it goes. And I put that right under the knot. And it can't be too wide because this card opens. You don't want it to stick out of the card either. So last thing I did was to add some Wink of Stella to some of these, this pretty image. So close up, it is finely shimmery. And like I've said before, if you want extra shimmer, do it twice or more and add extra shimmer. So there's my card. Hope you like it. Little twist on that tuck and fold or fold and tuck card that we did, I think, a couple weeks ago. That's our first one. The next one is a little bit over the top, just a little. And you've probably seen these folds, and I'm going to show you my inspiration. So as you know, I join a lot of swaps. So this is one of the swaps I received, and this is from Amy Rich. And she did what I'm calling a triangle double flat fold. But she used that, bones, I forget what the name of that is. Let's see, Bag of Bones bundle, which is not available. The dies aren't available. And there's one of those glow-in-the-dark bats and ghosts that aren't quite available either. But the paper is Them Bones. This is the designer paper that is available. So cute card, right? Okay, but I wanted to use the Magical Meadow and the Tartan Foil. So this is my card, and I thought it turned out gorgeous. So there's the card, and it is copper clay with Lost Lagoon. So it does use the Winter Wishes stamp and this one on the inside. Plus the colder weather brings us together, which is a beautiful saying. So we're gonna make this double triangle flap card. All right, let me get my supplies out. And just so you know, this die cut right here is from the Nested Essential dies, which are also another wonderful group of dies. 4 different layers in each shape for Nested Essentials, I guess. All right. So lots of pieces here on this one. Now, when you're cutting your designer paper, I already cut mine, but what happens is when you're cutting this, so basically here is the other half of this piece. So you need basically 2 4" by 5 1/4 rectangles for 2 cards. So the first one you just cut in half, right at point to point. But this one will then be used for the second card because it doesn't work. It does not work to use the same half of this piece for the other half inside. So when you're making these, you make 2. You cut one out, oops, one out, like here would be the other half. Why can I not figure that out? Here, this is it. The other half of this piece is here, and then the other half of this piece is there. Do you understand what I'm saying? It has to be 2 cards when you're making this one. So, and when you are making your card, you just simply use the same normal card base of 5 1/2 by 8 1/2, and you score off 1 triangle. You have to make sure it's the right triangle, because if you scored off the wrong one, there's no real fix. You're going to end up opening your card a different way, which is probably fine. But make sure you cut off the upper right triangle once you have your card scored. and cut, and then use that piece for another card layer or some scrap. Okay, so I'm going to try the other way this time and just change it up. See which one we like better. Okay, we'll add our adhesive and put the Lost Lagoon on the front this time instead of the inside, and this one will be inside. It's a shame to not show off both sides, but in an essential way I am. But there's many other card folds that you can find that show off. In fact, I used some last week on our last week's video. Okay, so that's that. Now we have this layer, and this is 3 inches wide by 8.5. So on a piece of paper, you can get 3. So if you're just making 2 cards, you'll have this much left over of that cardstock. And I could have used Lost Lagoon on here, would have been fine, but then it wouldn't show up on this layer. So I stuck with the copper clay. Okay, we will add our adhesive to the back, and basically you want it to be centered. I want about the same amount, and I want that corner beyond that. So that looks pretty straight to me. So we'll just do that. And I textured this Lost Lagoon with that same, is it Distressed Tile, the new embossing folder. So we'll just add that here. I don't know why I'm going to turn it this time. Okay, so let's get to our fun stuff. So I already stamped and die cut that. I like to do a few things ahead of time. Here is the adhesive backed silver foil. Remember, it comes in gold and silver, and I did not peel off the adhesive yet. So we'll see how that works. I'll use my poker, why can I not think of this name? Somebody tell me the name of this tool. It's gone. Yeah, it is a clever layout. It's very, very unique. We are going to stamp in Pretty Peacock. I'm going to stamp off a couple times for that inside layer. Move that away. Okay, first we'll do our greeting because we have to get that on. Well, we don't have to, but we're going to get that on there. Make sure I don't have any kitty hairs on there. I have 2 sides though. Such a pretty greeting. All right, and this one I'm going to stamp off. I'm going to actually stamp off on a scrap of paper. Okay, and then huff on it a little bit and just stamp it toward the bottom. So there's that. That's our stamping is done. All right. So this will go inside, and this is the same measurement. So both front textured and white insides, these are 2 3/4 by 4. So actually I don't need to turn that on that side. I can tell my parameters here. Sometimes the reason I do this, some people think it's crazy, but I'm not holding a glued piece then. My fingers do not get as gluey. If I know my parameters, it just helps me not get full of ink. Okay, so now we have all the fun things here. I die cut this one out of white, this one out of coordinating, to me, Peacock coordinates with Lost Lagoon beautifully. And then I wanted a little bit of silver in there. So we are going to just adhere these. Now I did not add our adhesive sheets to the bottom of these. Don't know why, I never think of it until later, but I'm okay with a little bit of glue here and there. Does not bother me to use my glue in small smears. I'm pretty good at that without getting a whole lot peeking out. But if you're not, our adhesive sheets would help you a lot. So they don't have to be everywhere. And I probably put some outside. I don't want to get outside there because I don't know where I put my adhesive. So I can't let it hang off like this one hangs off a little bit. That one cannot. Okay, let's see how we do finding the backing on this adhesive. Oh, I think I got it. Okay. So this is our silver adhesive back sheets that I will add right there. Easy peasy. Okay, so on here for our little silver swirl of cord, I believe this is in the annual catalog. This is the Simply Elegant trim. I like to do this. Put my adhesive down. I'm going to scoot my card away because this is where I start getting lots of adhesive. And I'm going to form 2 loops of this cord. And I'm not going to tie it. I want it to look like a double bow. Okay, do I have it all in the right place? Okay, then I'm just going to simply press. And I could have used mini glue dots. And hopefully I have that fairly centered, but you can always move it. In fact, I'm going to, this one is too, oh, it's not too bad. I want this to be really loose and kind of airy. This one's a little bit bigger, so let's see if we can pull, let's see, I think it's this one. No, it's not that one. Must be this one. No, must be this one. Okay. All right, now, so this doesn't stick everywhere. I have to add dimensionals because otherwise, if you don't want this popped up, you have to cover that adhesive. So mini glue dots could have been a better solution for this, but I want to press that on that adhesive pretty well so it stays there and doesn't come off. So how do you feel about that kind of mock double bow? I think it's really pretty. And this one runs the other way. That one ran this way. It doesn't really matter. And there we go. Now lastly, can you see on this card the little silver little baubles? I think I'm going to just add them to this piece and not this one this time. Now this is, you do this after your card is completely done. I always say when we had Crystal Effects, we had to wait. We have something called the Metallic Enamel Effects Basics. There's two different packages of these enamel effects. This one has gold, copper, and silver. So you do this after your card is completely done and you're not going to touch it. Because if you lay it down, and I did actually lay it down to take a picture, and I got a little bit of a boo-boo on that one, but you just don't want to touch it again. So very small pressure to get a nice little dot on here. There we go. I suppose I could add that one too. All right, there is my little silver accents instead of adding any gems. What do you think? So the 2 cards we did today are that one. I have to be really conscious that that is wet because I've done this before. So here we go, using the Magical Meadow Suite and the new Tartan Foil designer paper that is in the online exclusive. If you just joined me, let me show you that paper again. It comes in 3 colors, and I believe Pebble Path, Lost Lagoon, and Copper Clay. And that, oops, I always forget that that one is a full piece. Don't get it in my, so those are the 3 pieces right there. 3 back side, 3 front side. Okay, so yeah, if you just joined me, watch the replay because I show you 5 new designer papers that are only available while supplies last, including this Tartan Foil on the online exclusives. Okay, so I promised you, and I'm gonna have to be real careful with this one. That one's going in a special place so I don't ruin it. I promised you that I would show you some swaps featuring the Autumn Leaves bundle. Don't get them mixed up, Leanne. Okay, so the Autumn Leaves bundle, one of the most popular bundles I had this past weekend at my open house, is just gorgeous. I mean, you may have leaves before. I do love this one. So if you don't have any leaves and you need some pretty die cuts and stamps, this is a gorgeous set. So have some in order here. A lot of these are not mine. This is using some of the gold, actually gold or copper. I can't remember what it looks like. Gold Enamel Essentials dots on there, and some of that copper, what is it called? Copper, oxidized copper designer paper that we cannot get. It's unavailable for a few weeks yet. This is a card by my friend Susie, and she did something really cool. I need to try that. Hers is always, she loves fun folds, and she's so good at them. This is copper and crumb cake together. Isn't that pretty? And what she did was she took her Wink of Stella and she tapped it and got droplets of Wink of Stella. I don't know if you can see that there a little bit. And then she also did the same with, I believe it was a regular marker, and tapped. So if you're holding your marker, you do this, and little droplets will come out and make it a little bit more what we call distressed looking, that spatter effect. So there's that one. And this one is made by Nancy Thompson. Isn't that beautiful? I love her, how she stamped her background. Now, where did I put that? So here's the bundle, or the stamps that she used. So she used the layers on each one. Okay, and this one, wow, love it. It is by Angie Leach. And she die cut many of, what's not even on here, it's just a separate die cut. There's two of them facing in different directions. And in the copper, the oxidized copper, the pretty ribbon that's not available, this is paired with copper foil ribbon, and it'll be back in October. And this is that autumn, All About Autumn designer paper that's not available. Same thing, same designer paper, not available yet. Oxidized copper, not available. I'm sorry. Another fun fold. Isn't that beautiful? So yeah, this is Peacock and Vanilla. Gorgeous. That one is made by Margaret Van Valley. So she does a beautiful job. And here is a card by Rhea Hughes. And she, really interesting. So she die cut 2 leaves out of the vanilla layer, and then use one of them in between them over a piece of the All About Autumn designer paper, and use that new embossing folder, the distressed tile. But I love how she used one of her die cut and put it between, a little bit of twine. And then lastly, this is from Carol Nordquist, and she used a window. She cut out a window from her vanilla layer and showed off a portion of that All About Autumn paper, and then cut out some more leaves from the All About Autumn paper and the oxidized copper. So those are some samples using the Autumn Leaves bundle that I think were beautiful, and I wanted to show it off because it is actually available. This is, I know the designer papers are not, but you can get the bundle. And it is starting to be fall. We're getting cooler and cooler here in North Dakota. We've been in the 60s yesterday. Today I think 70, but yeah, it's that time. Okay, I think that's it. Yeah, I think that's it. I'll see you all next Tuesday for another live. And don't forget, if you make card, send a card. Yeah, you definitely want to send your cards out. Don't just collect them. Send them out. All right. Thanks so much, everybody. I'll see you next week. Okay, bye-bye.